Okay, and here's a look of the battlefield. Lots of terrain, some woods. We got some hills, another woods on the opposite side. A lake, and right there in the center of the table is the objective, a little farmhouse. With objective being right there, a little ram. I'll fill you in on that in a second. And let's look at the forces. Okay, rebel side, we've basically got a veteran unit of rebels. Now the main force of the rebels is right here, either side of the forest. They've got their force split. This side over here has the standard bearer, the drummer, and the officer in command. Up over the hill they have one of their marksmen up here to get a nice look at any advancing Union troops. And this side of the woods has the remainder of the unit with a non-commissioned officer in command of those guys. And over here we have some attached sharpshooters with their non-commissioned officer. And to look and see what they can see when it comes time to fight. Okay, on the Union side, they aren't a veteran force. They're a little bit more trained, but not veterans. So they don't have the morale and the training that the rebels do. And their main force is right here. They got a big chunk right here on this side of the hill with their officer, standard bearer, musician, right there, kind of formed up in double line, right next to the woods. And over here is the rest of their unit, which has a non-commissioned officer in charge. They're kind of creeping up on the flank here, behind the farmhouse. And on the right flank, opposite the rebel sharpshooters, is a unit of veterans with their non-commissioned officer in charge. They're kind of bringing up the flank here. And again, there's the objective right in the middle. Okay, so that's deployment. Let's see what happens. And so a little bit more on the objective of the scenario. Right there in the center of the table is that white ram. Either side has to get in contact with that ram and move it to their deployment zone. I basically see it as the Union side is trying to rescue their regimental mascot, and yeah, the rebels are trying to prevent that. So it's a simple little scenario, simple little objective. Let's see what happens. One more look at the deployment. That'll be interesting. Okay, and one more thing, there's no heroes, no brilliant commanders or anything like that. It's pretty much straightforward, standard troops. In the case of the Union, it's mostly trained with a few veterans, and the rebels are a veteran force with some sharpshooters on their flank, on their left flank actually. Alright, so let's see who goes first and what happens. Alright, pretty uneventful first turn. No surprises. The rebels jumped the gun and had the initiative on the Union side. They all pretty much just moved forward, moved up from their positions. I think overall the rebels got further with their troops. And they did manage to get a shot off with this marksman up on the hill. Over there at that unit of trained troops. Didn't do any damage, but they did get a shot off. And there's a look at the Union closing in on the ram. And okay, we'll see what happens next. The second turn right there, the net result. The Rebs moved up to the fence and the Yanks moved up to the wall. And guess what happened? The Yanks cut them down. They took a lot of casualties. So they took 2 guys killed, which I'll take them off. These guys were killed instantly by that just devastating volley of fire, and everybody else was shaken, which I'm indicating with little white markers. So pretty much nothing else happened on the battlefield, but that's it so far. So that was turn 2. Let's see what happens next. Okay, I jumped ahead 2 turns this time. More action going on. Union veterans, they moved up through the woods. They finally got through that frickin' mess and managed to shake one of these veterans here, but he's okay now. They hustled up into the little stretch of trees there, so that's what's going on there. in the middle. The rebels are kind of trying to get around that impassable shrub there, which has proven to be a problem. The Union is holding their position. They've fully reloaded their muskets for the next turn, so they're ready to let fly again. These guys got rid of their shaken status. They're still a little bit vulnerable there. This marksman, rebel marksman, took a shot, and he managed to kill one of the Union guys up here. So this guy is now killed in action. They managed to move a little bit ahead too. Union's been suffering actually from a lack of initiative, so they're not getting their troops up and getting things done like they should. Rebels kind of having an issue here in the middle. They don't have a nice battle line formed up. They're kind of spread out and dispersed. The Union force right there at the wall is going to be a problem. They got a nice tough flank too in the woods, so I don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't look good for the Rebs. Alright, see what's next. Well, we just had a bloody exchange of melee combat right at the wall. The rebels came up around the flank here and charged this position the Union was holding. They charged the wall, broke through, being veterans. The Union only trained, they smashed them. I think they killed like 4 Union, and I think the Rebs lost like 1 guy. So they carried the position. Well, the Yankees are in trouble there in the middle. They're in prime position to pick up that goat. They advanced a little bit. There was a marksman over here in the woods for the Union side that finally took a shot at these guys over here. Missed because of the cover. In close range too. But that's the situation. So that was another turn gone by right there. Pretty nasty. I don't know about the Union now. They're going to have a tough time grabbing that goat. Okay, see what happens next turn. Well, looks like the game just came to an end. Last turn of the game, the rebels finally got hold of the ram. They're on their way to hop the fence and make way. But what ended the game wasn't that, but it was this unit of Yankees right here that got their butts handed to them by those veteran rebels. They just beat the tar out of them in melee. And that forced, I think I made about maybe 5 morale tests overall, and they finally failed their 1 test. So since there's only 1 unit, that ends the game. Could have been interesting. These guys were finally getting into the action, kind of coming up behind these Rebs who were getting ready to meet them if they did make it around. This guy killed at least 1 guy, marksman up on the hill. These guys have been sitting here for quite a while in open order, just laying into the veterans over here that were in the woods. They wiped them out pretty good. Pretty accurate shooting from these Rebs. The only thing left now is just that marksman who didn't do much in the game, and the non-commissioned officer. Overall, pretty good game. Had to fudge some things here and there. Still kind of learning the rules, but it works good. Pretty happy with it. But yeah, so that's the battle, folks. I plan on doing another one. Let's see what happens. Okay, everybody, thanks a lot. Any questions, just get in touch with me. It's forgeandbrush@AOL.com. Alright, thank you very much. I'll say one more thing. Right here is the casualty pile. I think this game lasted maybe 10 turns, 11 turns, something like that. Lasted maybe 2 hours, 3 hours in all. But there's the casualty pile, so yeah, the Union took a big loss. So, like I said, it was a good game. I had a good time. Okay, till next time, my friends.